Now, how the piston it will be analyzed using the FEM. What are the different procedure for making the analysis of piston using FEM? So first, if you want to make the analysis of the piston, the first and primary we require the model. So first step, it will be to create a model. So the model, it may be in the form of design model or it may be mathematical model. Okay, so what do you mean by design model? So there is a lot of difference in the model and design. So model is nothing but, so whatever I have drawn here, so this may be your model. So if anyone who not having the knowledge of design, so he can directly without having any more technical skill, he can design any products. Okay, in a software or by using the drafting, he can sketch the model. So that is not mean by a design. So model is not a design. So many of them are tell we have created a model. Okay, model in the modeling software. So that is not the exact meaning of the designing. So you should say the designing will be created in any of the modeling softwares. Okay, so modeling softwares like you know about some of the modeling software like CATIA. You might heard about CATIA, Pro-V, Nest, SolidWorks, AutoCAD. Okay, so these are all the modeling software where we are going to create the model. So how do you create the model? So without having any specification, because you need the some of the specification like major dimension, it may be the material property or it may be the shape and size. All the properties are required to make the model. So how do you calculate? Suppose it may be the diameter of the piston or it may be height, it may be the piston ring, okay, and thickness of the wall. So all these we require the dimensions. We require dimension. So where you will obtain the dimension? You cannot take the directly the dimension as 50 or 100 mm. Okay, it required the some basic fundamental calculations. It means the design calculation. So then we will follow the analytical procedure. We'll follow the analytical procedure where which you have studied in design DMM or DME, where we have created the piston or connecting rod. So different mechanical elements which are already exist. So for that we have the procedure, step-by-step procedure is there. So using the procedure, we have calculated the diameter, or it may be the thickness of the head, it may be the thickness of the fin, thickness of the wall, all the dimension we have calculated like 10 mm, 2 mm. So like this, we have calculated the different parameters using the analytical procedure. Okay, so once you calculated this is a design analytical procedure we call. So now where model, it is randomly you can design without any calculation, that we called as a model. So with calculation, with all the parameters and following the analytical procedure, whatever the model you be created, that will be called as a design. Okay, so design is nothing but it should have the some mathematical calculation, analytical procedure. Then we call it is the model or the design model. It has been completed using the any of these softwares. Okay, so once the design or the model is created, then the next procedure is selection of the material. This is the one of the most important factors to be considered in the design. So the selection, it is very important, selection of the materials. So now for a piston, suppose if you take the piston, what will be the best suited material for the piston? What is the best suited material? You have the stainless steel, you have the mild steel, aluminum. Many materials are available in the market. So which will be the most preferable material for the piston? So as a design engineer, you should aware of the material properties also. Okay, means for the design, which will be the more suitable based on the many factors like the mechanical factors, physical factors. So all these properties, by considering all properties, select a proper material. Okay, so select a proper material so that it will be suited for the piston. Now I will say where aluminum is the best suited material for the piston. Aluminum, why? Because by considering the strength, durability, and different thermal resistivity, so all these factors, it will make me to select the aluminum material. Okay, so there are different grades in the aluminum. That will be a second part. So now, first of all, we will consider the aluminum. Again, in the aluminum, there are different codes are there around. You may get thousands of aluminum grades. So that will be a second part. Okay, now based on your requirement, you can select the preferable. Now, after selecting the material, then the next step is whatever the design model you have created, that's to be analyzed. Okay, anyhow the model is created, so you cannot go for the practical application, you cannot go for making the prototype. Okay, because only the design is completed, but we don't know how much it can resist the load, what will be the maximum stress in the material, how can it resist the impact load. All these factors we cannot analyze directly in the modeling software. So it can be analyzed. It can be analyzed using the FEM. Okay, it can be analyzed using the FEM. So FEM is nothing but in a short way, in some software I can say, ANSYS you can assume here. FEM is nothing but the one application, that is ANSYS is the one software where using this software we can analyze the FEM. Okay, now the whatever the model which you have created, that will be imported to the ANSYS or FEM software. Anything, any software you can say, not only ANSYS, you can say FEM software, where the model, it will be imported. Like whatever the model you have created, that will be in the form of one file. Now the file to be imported to the ANSYS, means you will be transfer the file to the ANSYS software. Okay, like opening our folders in a different software, that's it. Okay, so it will be imported to the ANSYS now. So where the same model, it will be again generated in the ANSYS. Same whatever you have created, same model, it can be appears in the ANSYS also. There will be no changes. Okay, same model, it can be imported. Now after importing, there are some certains where you need to make the model to be generated. Like now we will start the FEM procedure. Okay, from here, once the model is imported, the next step, it will be FEM. So what will happen in the FEM? So first thing, we will discretized. So discretized, the term which I explained in the previous class also, the discretize is nothing but dividing the element. So this is your element, it is your model. Now what you have to do, you have to discretize, means divide the elements into number of geometrical shapes. Okay, what do you mean by divide the domain? You can say divide the domain. Domain is nothing but the model into number of geometrical, it should be a geometrical shapes. You cannot divide the model like this is your model. You cannot divide anything like this. You cannot divide. Okay, it should be a geometrical shape. Geometrical shape means it may be your circle, it may be triangle, it may be rectangle, it may be square, or any geometrical shape you have to divide. Okay, the model to be divided into number of geometrical. Suppose, for example, this model I will divide into a rectangular shape. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All these are geometrical shapes, right? Like this, you have to divide the element into number of geometrical shapes. So number of, okay, number, there is no limits. You can go to 1,000, lakhs. There is no limit. Okay, so you can divide into number of geometry. If you increase the more number of geometry, then the efficiency, the result will be more accurate. That is the difference. Suppose, for example, if you divide by 100, okay, 100 rectangles, then you will get the result, approximate result you will get. If you divide by 1,000, you will be more accurate. Accuracy will be more. If you divide, increase the more number of division, then the accuracy will be more. Okay, so that we called as a, in FEM, discretizing the model into number of equal parts, number of geometrical shapes. Okay, so the geometrical shape means anything. Now, once you divide the geometrical shape in a software, in FEM we called as it is a discretizing, and in ANSYS we called it is as meshing. You might heard this word, meshing we call. Okay, so meshing and discretizing both are the similar word. In generally ANSYS software, it will be mesh generation we call, mesh generation. Okay, so after mesh generation means like this type of model you might see in any of the journals or papers, where the model it will be divided into number of lines and nodes. Okay, so that we call as a mesh generation. So what will happen in the mesh generation? We'll see separately. Suppose this is the one element. So this is the one element, and here is the one more element. Okay, so this is the element 1 will say, this is the element 2 will say. Now element 1 and element 2 are joining at this node. Okay, so this will be called as a node 1. So element, I will generally represent the elements in the circle, and nodes at where dot is there it will be node. So in this case, there are two elements and one nodes are used. Am I right? So no, two elements, one node. So if you have another two elements here to form a square, so it means there are 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 nodes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 elements are used. Okay, so this is called the elements and nodes. I think it's clear now. So what we call, when the links are joined at the nodes, then we when the links are connected at their ends, that will be forms a node. Okay. So after the meshing, so this in this form, if you take any one element, suppose one element you can consider this one. So if you make in the zoom, then you can find like this. Okay, so any one element. So there are thousands of elements here. Okay, we have divided into thousands elements. Now in all the elements, it will form in this case. So all this work, it will be carried out by the ANSYS. So whatever the process is carried out in the ANSYS, so that will be having a backup with the FEM. So with the FEM calculation, we will make the process in the ANSYS. So this is a FEM where you are going to study now how the calculation it will be carried out in the FEM for single element and for multiple element, how we can make the assembling and how we will get the result, all the values we will come to know. So once the mesh is generation, so this is about the mesh, then after that you will have the next applying the boundary condition. Okay, so once these elements are formed, so now for each element you need to calculate the stiffness matrix, that is K. So K is the stiffness. So stiffness is nothing but the rigidity in the material, stiffness of the material, where K generally, where force per unit area. K is equal to what? Force per unit displacement. Force per unit displacement will be called as a stiffness. Okay, so that will be K. Now each element you will have K1, here it will be K2, K3, and K4. Like there are different stiffness matrices, different K values. Now you need to assemble all these by using the global stiffness matrix. So before applying the boundary condition, we will make the global stiffness matrix that we call as a global stiffness matrix. Okay, so it means where K is equal to, where we will add all the stiffness, that is K1 plus K2 plus K3, etc. So we will assemble. Global stiffness is nothing but assembling all the stiffness matrix that we call as a global stiffness matrix. So once the global stiffness matrix is formed, then we will make in the finite element equation. The finite element equation. What is this finite element equation? As I told you, where K is equal to F by U. Okay, force per unit area. So now I can write Ku is equal to F. Same formation, where stiffness is equal to what? Force per unit area, unit deformation, where U will be the deformation. I will tell all the terms. K be called as the global stiffness matrix, and U we called as the displacement or deformation, also you can say deformation vector or matrix, or where F we called as a force vector. Okay, so one by one you will learn. It will take in the starting little confusion. Okay, so once you will be in the actual problematic or actual concept, then you can understand. Now this is general, in general I'm telling. So once the finite element equation is formed, then we will go to apply the boundary condition. So K, which is nothing but it is the global stiffness matrix, U is the displacement vector, F is the force vector. Okay, so this equation, it can be different, it can be varies depend upon the type of element which you are using, for one dimensional or for two dimensional or for three dimensional. It's depend upon the equation or elements. Is this equation, it will be changed. Okay, so general form it will be same, Ku is equal to F, but K it will be different, U it will be different, F it will be different based on the our different conditions. It may be loading conditions, it may be material condition, it may be geometrical conditions. So all, considering all these factors, it will be changed. So after that, we will apply the boundary conditions. So now you have to understand very clearly about this boundary condition. In short, I will write BC. Okay, so boundary condition is the one of the most important factor to be understand in the finite elements. Okay, so many of you will get confused in this case. What about the boundary conditions? So boundary condition, in a short and simple words, I can say this is nothing but it is the input which you are applying on the object. Input. Okay, in simple word I can say it is a input. Suppose on the piston, you have a piston here, right? So on piston, so what will be the boundary conditions? For example, piston, it will reciprocate in the cylinder, right? Many of you know the working conditions of the piston. It will be reciprocate in the cylinder. Now, to make the reciprocation, we require some fluid pressure. Okay, here there will be fluid pressure. So pressure will be considered. So how much the pressure you want to apply on the piston. So it is nothing but the pressure is nothing but it will be the input. It will be the boundary condition. Okay. So because in NCs you need to apply the load, it cannot take manually. You have to give the values so that it can analyze in a static condition. So it can be analyzed in a static or it can be analyzed in the dynamic. So static is nothing but you are going to analyze when the body is in rest. Okay. So when it is rest, so it may be our beam element, structural element, where the body is fixed on somewhere. Okay, it cannot give any motion. So that type of analysis, we can say it is a static analysis when it is under rest and you are going to make the analysis. And in a dynamic, the body, it will be under motion. The body, it will be under motion. It means it is under working conditions. In that case, we are going to analyze. Means you can make the piston analysis when it is making the motion. Okay, when it is making up and down, you can identify how the piston it can be working. Or what will be the maximum stress, where it is giving the maximum displacement, what will be the maximum temperature, because there will be spark plug here at the top. So in that case, how the temperature are distributing at the top end. So all this we are going to make the analysis. So it means the input, if you give the input, it may be in the form of load, or it may be in the form of pressure, or it may be form of temperature. All these will be considered as a boundary conditions. Okay, where you are going to apply the loads. That is the boundary condition. So once the boundary condition is applied, then again, till now it will be the pre-processing. What is the step we call as pre-processing? Okay, so far we have covered only the pre-processing. So after that, after applying the boundary condition, it will start solution. Okay, so processing, pre-processing, processing. Now in the solution, it will start making the processing. So whatever the boundary condition you apply on the element, start using the FEM, and finally it will give the post-processing result. Okay, so post-processing means the data which are given as an input, then after that it will start making the post-processing. It may be in the form of picture, or it may be in the form of a result table. It can be displayed on your NC screen. Okay, so that will be once in the output you can find a different color hatching. Suppose it will be here maximum displacement, red color, it will indicate the maximum temperature. All these different color indication, and there will be in the right side you will find all the result, everything it will be plotted, and also in the table, so you can find all the result like stress, strain, what will be the maximum displacement, deformation, all the result it will be plotted in the post processing. So whatever the output you want, it may be structural element, or it may be thermal element, fluid flow element, acoustic element, okay, so hydraulic, anything, whatever the CFD nowadays, computational fluid dynamics, all the result it can be plotted in this post processing. Okay, so this is the process about the finite element method. Okay, so I think all the concept which are cleared now in your mind about the FEM. Okay, so now if you are having any more doubts, you can ask. Yes, guys, any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. So clear in the FEM ela untadi work?
Yes, sir.
Right. Then again, we will start the one more next class. Okay. So far, we'll have a good day.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Start again. 1 second. We will have the attendance. Okay, right. Bye.